So, building a personal brand is difficult, and I am somebody who, for a living, takes people that have brands such as creators and monetizes it, just like I did at the previous business where I was the shadow operative man, but we managed to scale to $2 million a year. And now I've stepped into the limelight, and my name's Alex Newman. I'm actually documenting the process of me restarting from scratch. And essentially, I'm going through a lot of what I consider the false complexity and all the problems that make building a personal brand difficult. And I just want to share with you how I'm actually navigating them and what it actually means to overcome them. So, if you are a creator or anyone that's just trying to start your personal brand, you can do the same if you're running into just like these endless problems where you feel like no one's watching your videos and no matter what you try or what extent you actually execute it to, it doesn't work because the actual answer lies a lot deeper than that and it has nothing to do with the strategies or tactics you do and more so about the fundamental positioning of how you actually appear in the market in the first place. So, to actually first start off and get a basis of what we're going to talk about, I consider a personal brand success not by the views that you get or not by the subscribers that you get. And a lot of people are going to say this and they're going to say they agree to it. But what ends up happening on the back end is that when they don't have a video that does well, like it doesn't get views, they immediately get demotivated because they feel as though people are not watching them, people not like the content that they're actually going ahead and producing. And immediately you want to like cut this out of your brain. The goal of a personal brand, in my opinion, and if you want to be an influencer, you can go and watch another video, is to generate revenue for whatever you are doing, whether that be a B2B offer, like you're teaching people how to make money online, or whether it's an offer like you're teaching people how to get in shape. There are so many wide niches that you can do. But the goal at the end of the day is to make money online. So as a result of that, you shouldn't be optimizing for purely the views and subscribers you get. You should be optimizing for how can I move someone from cold attention, they don't know who I am, they don't know I exist, to actually being a paid customer, which exists and actually happens over here. And you don't want to quantify your success by any other metric. That's the most important thing. So the YouTube Studio dashboard is nothing more than a guide, and whether it says a 1 out of 10 does not matter. And to actually prove this point, at the previous business I ran, we had a software called Hyros set up. And essentially, what Hyros does is beyond the platforms like YouTube or like Instagram, it actually tracks what video performs well when it actually connected to a long-term timeline like 6 months, 12 months, so you can see which videos are generating you the most revenue. And something that we found is that almost every video that we published that would be some boring form of case study or client interview would show up on the YouTube dashboard as an 8 out of 10. Everything's like the little gray down arrow of doom. And yet, if you actually track on the back end with Hyros, these videos were not just converting 1 time better or 2 times better, but they were converting on a rough average like 5 times better and making us way, way, way more money. So you have to understand that what you necessarily see on the YouTube dashboard or the Instagram dashboard, that is not what you're optimizing for. What you're optimizing for is money in your bank account. And the quickest way, if we actually subtract that out to what we're looking for, is either leads or calls booked. I prefer just to go straight to calls booked, keep it simple, but that's another conversation for another day with funnels. The reason why building a brand is so hard is because we get caught up in what I consider false complexity. Essentially, I believe that complex problem only ever is going to have a simple solution. Like a complex problem, you want to solve all the YouTube, you have the click-through rate, you've got the thumbnail, you've got all these moving variables, moving parts, is always going to be solved by just a simple solution. And if you ever try and come up with a complex solution for it, it's never going to work. You never come up with this complex solution of getting a video editing agency or getting your thumbnails dialed in or hiring this YouTube consultant because essentially none of that matters. And when you actually look at the personal brands that see success that might have all these things, they were seeing success and they added on these things as fuel to the fire, but it's not the actual reason why their channels get views in the first place. And it all comes down to who you are as a positioning, which is the concept of this video. So when you think of yourself as a personal brand, it's almost like you automatically put yourself at an authority standpoint to a certain extent. People are watching you and they're putting the experiences and what you're showing on a pedestal and comparing it to what they see in their own lives. And the second that this happens, you need to realize that your job should be to actually play a role and a character to a certain extent that people want to see. And it doesn't mean that this character needs to be not authentic, but it needs to be who you fundamentally are in alignment with what you want to do. So if you want to sell a product, because our goal again is to make money, it's not going to actually benefit us if we do not come across as someone who is an authority in this given field. So one of the greatest examples of this is you could have the best video editing agency in the world, you could have the best thumbnails, titles, and everything like that. But if you're trying to sell people on a trading course and you never show someone a chart, you're probably not going to make a lot of money. And the same way goes that if you try and sell someone a trading course and you look like you yourself are not a trader and you don't use trading terms and you just physically don't appear like you are in the same relatable, resonatable life experiences as these people, it is not going to work. And this is the biggest thing that I found. I've spent, if you go on my channel, you can see it. I spent so many years going through and recording videos in all these different settings and trying to do all the little hacks that you can see. And I'll be honest, it like really didn't work out that well for a lot of the products when it came to me actually being a traffic source. For the business, it was still doing fine because my partner has a great actual YouTube presence and whatnot. But for myself, it didn't actually work that well. And essentially, the goal of what my channel actually is going to be doing in the future is just doubling down on this, presenting myself as authentically what I am, which is a guy who was the operator at the back end of a business. And I'm going forward and I'm just restarting and sharing the entire process as my scrappy marketing, these crappy videos where I keep stuttering over my words over and over and over again. And that's who I am. That is what I do. So essentially, if you've got a personal brand right now, the success is going to lie not in any of the external things, but about the character that you actually are. And if people want to learn from that, if you're teaching someone how to get in shape, the best thing that you could do yourself is to display that you are the person that's watching's goal. They want to be in shape like you. You want to be rich like this guy. And if you can do that, almost everything else in your content, your equation falls into line because you can just talk about the genuine things that you want to talk about because you are the person that these people want to listen to. When you look at the number one authorities and how actually people became famous before the internet, it wasn't by optimizing the click through rate or doing any of these things. It was the fact that these people were so good at a given thing that people wanted to be like them in that thing. And as a result, listen to every single word they said as a result of it. That's why celebrities can go over now, produce YouTube videos, and just absolutely crush it because people already want to be like them. The reason why Michael Jordan is a celebrity and he could do whatever he wanted, or you see these guys that were playing sports and then go over to actually just being a star celebrity, is because they were already the person that people wanted to be and emulate. And I'm telling you right now that if you can do the exact same thing for the ideal viewer of your content, the same way that I'm somewhat trying to, just a genuine, honest guy restarting his business, showing what happened, then you are able to actually position yourself in a way that's going to allow your content to see success. So overall, that's a message for the day. That's why building a personal brand is hard. And that is kind of my solution to actually overcome it. Big update on the business is I actually got another client on board a bit earlier today. He's going to be going through the exact same personal branding setup. And essentially, if you're wondering what I do, I essentially partner with creators to do the exact same thing that I did at my previous business. And the offer that I have and what I believe in is always making people more money than they pay me in return. So at any point, if you are actually interested in working with me, you can get onboarded completely for free. Just schedule your call down below and we'll chat about whether it's a good fit or not. But yeah, I hope that the time that you got from this video was worth the energy that you spent on it, or worth the value that you got from this video, was the time you spent. And I will see you in the next one.